do you still maintain your assertion that this inquiry that we're having right now exceeds the power that is granted to us by the Constitution? Do you still maintain that position?
Your Honor, I think I cannot answer that because that is really
But
actually...
this is one of your assertions.
I know,
Attorney
that is
Lopez.
our assertion, Your Honor. But
What do
that
you
is a
mean?
legal issue as to whether you have, the Congress has the power or not. But our position, Your Honor, as we have stated from the very beginning, is that we feel that because there is still an ongoing audit and nothing is final, we feel that it would be too early to release such information.
Who is, sino yung our?
The position of the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor, which the agency that is undergoing the audit investigation.
Kayo, sa letter ninyo, presume na wala kami legislative intent. Eh. How can you do that? How can you presume that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but during the time this letter was made, there was no draft legislation or there was no...
We can conduct legislative inquiry and the bill can be filed after the legislative inquiry.
Our position, Your Honor, is just that hindi pa po tapos kasi yung audit investigation. Yun lang naman po. That's why we requested COA not to release it.
Sige.
It does not in any way, Your Honor, mean that we do not recognize the power of the Congress to conduct in aid of legislation. It's just the timing because the audit is still being undertaken and it's not final and still not conclusive, Your Honor. Respectfully.
Anyway, Atty. Lopez, just to inform you, alam mo naman to separation of powers, power of Congress for inquiry in legislation, and question of the subject matter with regards to COA in relation to the confidential funds. Sabi mo kasi hindi pa tapos. But just to inform you, there's a lot of investigation in my committee and ordering COA to have a thorough audit pending all those COA audit report.
Now, I'd like to go back, Mr. Chair, to Attorney Lopez po. Attorney, kanina po na-bring up po yung issue ng sulat ninyo. Opo, kasi kanina po ni Deputy Speaker JJ Suarez. And basically, marami pong rason na na-cite po dito sa sulat na ito, no? Asking COA to comply, and you have stated several reasons why COA should not comply with the subpoena request, subpoena to Sistecom by the House, no, by the committee. Among those reasons, Mr. Chair, is that you explicitly said in the letter, among other things, that there is no congressional power to expose for the sake of exposure. I underline that because I want to ask you, Mr. Chair, since you're here, Mr. Chair, and I assume that every word, every sentence, every paragraph, every phrase reflected in this letter, you believed with conviction that COA should not comply with the request or the subpoena powers of the House of Representatives. I'm just curious, Attorney Lopez, since you're already here, and earlier I thank you for your presence. Do you still maintain this position, Mr. Chair, Attorney Lopez? Do you still maintain the position that COA should not comply with the requests of the House of Representatives and the subpoena order by this committee to acquire certain documents from the Commission on Audit?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. The position of the Office of the Vice President when we wrote that letter was to request COA to not yet give the said documents because there is an audit investigation ongoing. We feel that, we at the Office of the Vice President feel that it is yet too early to release documents because nothing has been made final. That was really the purpose of that request, Your Honor.
So you do, but my question is, do you still stick to your position? All the reasons and the arguments you have stated here, cited, some I guess you have cited the legal basis for COA not to comply. Do you still maintain that?
Yes, Your Honor, we stand by it. Actually,
Do you stand by it? Still, up to now. So you
yes.
mean to say,
um,
here you mentioned, and I guess this is, I guess, para po sa akin, ito po yung position ninyo. The subpoena was not issued in aid of legislation and thus exceeds the legislative power of inquiry. Are you aware, Mr. Chair, Attorney Lopez, since you're a lawyer, that the Constitution grants the House of Representatives, the Congress for that matter, both the lower house and the Senate, the power to exercise, not only to create laws or introduce laws, but to exercise oversight functions, meaning to hold inquiry in aid of legislation, Mr. Chair. Are you aware of that, and do you believe that? That's an exclusive power that is exercised by the Congress.
We respect that, actually, Your Honor. We recognize, as I mentioned earlier when this was asked, this letter by no means seeks to undermine the power of Congress to investigate or conduct inquiries in aid of legislation. But we feel that at that time, on the end of the Office of the Vice President, because there's still an ongoing audit investigation, we feel that it was not the right time to present or release such documents because nothing is yet final. That is our position. But it does not, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, seek to undermine the power of Congress. That is not the intention, which is why we also recognize the power of the Commission on Audit on all things involving audit. So we requested them. But it is still up, of course, to the Commission on Audit whether to grant a request or not. It was simply a statement of our position.
I'm not, Mr. Chair, I'm not here to challenge your personal belief on matters, but I'm just trying to test, because your assertion, one of your assertion here is that the subpoena was not issued in aid of legislation and thus exceeds the legislative power of inquiry. Do you think this committee is exceeding its power granted to it by the Constitution? That's one of your assertions. I don't wanna challenge your position on this. I just want you to clarify to me.
Because early on, Your Honor, when the request was made, there was no pending legislation on this matter. There was no draft law or bill that was attached for that requested item to be released.
Are you aware? Yes. Okay. Are you aware, Mr. Chair? Are you aware, Mr. Chair, that there are laws existing and there are laws that have to be amended, and that's one of the reason why we are holding or exercising the House of Representatives exercises its power. In fact, it's not just a power; it's an obligation. It's a responsibility.
Your Honor,
Wait, let me finish, Attorney. I'm sorry.
sorry.
Sorry po. To exercise its power, oversight power, to review laws. The General Appropriations Bill or Act is a law. Everything that is specified under the GAA of 2022, 2023, and 2024, these are all laws. And what we're discussing here, Mr. Chair, are funds and budget given to each agency precisely because they're granted by the power and the effect of a law. That's why they're using these funds, no? And in particular, the Office of the Vice President, the use of the confidential funds. That confidential funds will not be available to the Office of the Vice President had Congress did not enact these laws. So, I'm asking you again, do you still maintain your position that what we are doing here exceeds the power that is granted to us by the Constitution in the exercise of our oversight function?
Your Honor, I stand by the letter that was the position of the Office of the Vice President, and as stated in our position and in our letter to the Commission on Audit.
Okay, so do you still maintain your assertion that this inquiry that we're having right now exceeds the power that is granted to us by the Constitution? Do you still maintain that position?
Your Honor, I think I cannot answer that because that is really
But
actually...
this is one of your
a le-
assertions,
I know,
Attorney
that is
Lopez.
our assertion, Your Honor. But
What do
that
you
is a
mean?
legal issue as to whether the Congress has the power or not. But our position, Your Honor, as we have stated from the very beginning, is that we feel that because there is still an ongoing audit and nothing is final, we feel that it would be too early to release such information on the end of the Commission on Audit. That is basically what we are trying to request from the Commission on Audit.
When you say our position, does that mean who is sino yung our?
The position of the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor, which the agency that is undergoing the audit investigation.
Anyway, Mr. Chair, I will no longer labor on this issue. I just want to give time for Attorney Lopez to maybe enlighten us kung bakit according to her ay nag-i-exceed ang committee na ito sa power na ginrant sa atin ng Constitution, and yet sinasabi naman po niya na she is recognizing the power of the House to exercise yung oversight function. I just don't get any clear answers po. Pasensya na po, Attorney Lopez, sa inyo. From the very start that one of my colleagues here started asking question, wala ho akong nakuhang klaro na sagot po sa inyo. Pasensya na po. Ganun lang po interpretation ko sa lahat po na naging kasagutan ninyo. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you po, Attorney Lopez, for your candid answers.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Chairman, can I
Yes, before I recognize Congressman Paduano, the Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Julian Jambaronda from the Lone District of Iloilo City, our Deputy Majority Leader. Asan? Yes, the Chair would like to recognize Congressman Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anyway, Attorney Lopez, just to inform you, alam mo naman to separation of powers, power of Congress for inquiry in legislation, and question of the subject matter with regards to COA in relation to the confidential fund. Sabi mo kasi hindi pa tapos. But just to inform you, there's a lot of investigation in my committee and ordering COA to have a fraud audit pending all those COA audit report. That's why this committee and this Congress has the power. Visited and asked for inquiry in aid of legislation, especially in the case of the confidential fund, in which that is a law from the GAA. Alam mo naman yan, di ba?
Yes.
Walang budget na confidential fund without the GAA. It is a law. Tama? Kaya nga po, just to inform you, na in Congress, well, in fact, ang dami na po. Special audit, fraud audit. Ginagawa po ng COA yan by the order of this Congress. I hope you get my point, Attorney.
Yes, I do, Congressman.
Thank you, Mr.
Salamat.
Chairman.